And as politicians and diplomats draw up peace plans, there are those alive now who may not live to see it. Oduayo Sawyer, Osrc News.
Meanwhile, Israeli strikes have hit the headquarters of the Palestinian in Gaza. Thousands of veterans have been transported to hospitals in carts pulled by donkeys because there aren't enough ambulances. Nabal Fashak is the media and communications officer of the
with an artillery shelling the upper floors, and unfortunately it has led to a number of injuries
and risky conditions, and the attack on the Red Crescent headquarters makes their essential role even more difficult.
With an artillery shelling the upper floors, and unfortunately it has led to a number of injuries among the internally displaced people who were taken shelter inside our facility, and it has led also to the damage of the only communication tool for our ambulances, which is the VHF waves, which is the only communication available for the ambulance teams to communicate with each others, since there is a communication blackout in the area of Khan Yunis, and this is absolutely is hindering the work of our ambulances in Gaza. Unfortunately, the damage of the VHF system has resulted in a difficulty in communicating with each others. They are now facing great difficulties. It wasn't completely damaged, but partially damaged, which absolutely hindering their work in communicating with each others. And this is obviously it's not the first attack against the Palestine Red Crescent. We have already our hospital in in Gaza City, Al Quds Hospital, have been also damaged because of Israeli targeting. Unfortunately, up to this moment, the Palestine Red Crescent had lost 4 colleagues paramedic while they were on duty, and another 28 paramedics were injured while they were trying to save lives. Every single day, when our colleague goes on a mission to save people's lives while they are trying to evacuate the wounded and injured people from the location, another airstrike, another bombardment happened in the area, which put the lives of our colleagues in danger. This is the conditions that we are working under is just impossible, and it's extremely dangerous for any humanitarian or paramedic to work under. And this is absolutely is posing significant challenges for our ambulance teams to deliver and arrive for those who are in critical need for our medical services, and it also hindering the work of humanitarian agencies and us as well to deliver aid to the people who are in desperate need of it. Since the beginning of the escalation, not only the bombardment is happening everywhere in Gaza, but also people are completely denied access to food and drinking water. Yesterday, for example, we have received around 68 trucks through Rafah crossing border, and since the beginning of the war until December 20, have received around 4,768 trucks through Rafah crossing.
So and there were
عزك الكلاب نعود ما عودتش
and abuse.
زي اللي عزك الكلاب نعود ما يضر الم الم فيش ممنوع طبعا او على من الجسم فيش انا مشلحين زي ما شلحوا عيونا وغدونا طبوا فينا وميه وشب فيش وميه وسخه وعكره ويخبطوا عروسنا. ترفع راسك يخبطك في الدبشه، يخبطك في اي ايش بايده. بعدين كان معاهم زي البشمات في
وانا قاعد الصبح حرقني في السيجاره في ظهري وقاعد يغلط علي ويسب علي. هاي لقيت في ظهري صغرى هيك. بعديها والساعه ما حملونا العصر قعدوا يضربوا فينا كمان.
اخوي مصارينا وقت مع الكهرباء. انا مريض على القزاز يقعد يقول لنا هذا
said to a show of solidarity with Palestinians into a war that comes to look reports.
Thousands of cargo ships have been stranded on the borders of Djibouti for days, the fear coming under attacks by Yemeni's Houthis. Many don't know when they will get security clearance to enter the Red Sea. Houthi attacks have brought the maritime traffic here to a near standstill. The chairman of the Djibouti's Ports and Free Zones Authority is worried. He said doing business with Israel is challenging these days.
They have to convince the shipping lines to say we are not going to attack you if you are not carrying Israeli cargo, if you are not going to Israeli ports. Already Eilat ports, traffic collapsed 85%. So they have to really pass this message, and the shipping lines, the major shipping lines, have to be convinced.
Djibouti's economy relies on the maritime trade. With poor ports, it is regarded as one of the most important transit countries.
Transshipment is going to be affected, and this is a big part of our business, and we invested a lot to attract transshipment in Djibouti ports.
Houthi attacks on commercial vessels in the region has forced some of the largest shipping companies to suspend operations in the Red Sea. They have rerouted their ships around the southern tip of Africa. That has significantly increased fuel and insurance costs and caused delivery days of up to 10 days. These African countries are already facing challenges. Many ports are not functioning as a result of civil war and conflicts.
Now Sudan, Port Sudan is down. So what's left to Africa to trade with the rest of the world? Also closed, or trading on a small scale. Eritrean ports are closed. Assam is closed. Massawa is working only for Ethiopia in Eritrean economy. So we have very huge challenge already before this crisis.
More than 12% of global maritime trade passed through Bab el Mandab. The US has formed a multinational task force to protect vessels and keep the strait open. To safeguard these vital maritime routes that connect the Gulf of Aden to the Red Sea, the United States is increasing its naval presence. In this port of Djibouti is a missile-guided destroyer. The USS Mason is refueling before embarking on its next mission. It was attacked in the Red Sea in November and December. The US accuses Houthis of trying to block the maritime routes, but Houthis say they are only targeting the ships linked to Israel. Tolulokwe Oyebode, Osrc News.
Ukraine has carried out a strike for shares in Crimea and
For Ukraine, this was a high-value target. The Novosibirsk landing ship struck by a guided missile. The blast was colossal. Moscow claims it was only damaged. Kyiv says destroyed, and it is going to need more than a lick of paint regardless. China has been in Russia's grasp since 2014, but sites like these have become more common, with Ukraine striking deeper into the peninsula. The Novosibirsk would have almost certainly been loaded with either soldiers, hardware, or both. Its loss will hamper Russia's ability to supply troops further north, as well as further weaken its naval dominance in the Red Sea. What attacks like these have yet to do is supply enough pressure on Moscow to surrender Ukrainian territory it has taken. But for Ukraine, for President Zelensky, it is a welcome announcement. Against the backdrop of waning Western support, it is already affecting Ukraine's frontline operations, and that is helping Russia with the capture of Manica in the east. Moscow calls the devouring of this town liberation.
The main focus was to disrupt the Ukrainian counter-offensive, which was announced by Ukraine and its NATO allies. This task has been successfully completed.
Ukraine has only been able to liberate a few kilometers of its armed forces, gave a sober forecast for next year.
We're doing everything we can. Unfortunately, the enemy is not far behind us. You can see what is happening, especially recently. We're having powerful confrontations using various technologies.
In Faldoza, fragments of the ship were scattered for hundreds of these away at Russia's control, but their impact isn't always realistically. Problem for them is Jammu.
Today's is of mixed emotions. One, I am absolutely ecstatic for Sam. So I know Sam's worked very hard. I know Sam personally, and he's worked really hard. The second is, well, in 30 years of refereeing, we've only had two referees of colour. I'm a bit sad about that. There's been so many stumbling blocks at BAMREF. We've always talked about the 3 R's, which is recruitment, retention, and obviously representation. I've always been one, if you can't see it, you can't be it.
I think the targets that they've talked about will really help. The learnings must be from what happened in the 1990s to the 2000s. Those learnings there, why did people of colour and females not come through the game when we did have them at the top then? And let's learn from that and bring it forward and just give everyone a chance. That's where this needs to sit.
That's the news. Thanks for watching.